Right now at 6, a weather watch alert as we anticipate some storms coming through. We'll time them out for you coming up.
The person is dead after police say they were shot late last night. Fox 61's Brooke Griffin standing by with the details.
Also, the president is coming to Connecticut this week. We'll tell you what he is expected to talk about and when. That and more right now at 6.
Fox 61, Connecticut's news station, begins with a weather watch alert.
First at 6, we are tracking the potential for storms later on today. Some of them could be strong. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 61. Good morning, sunshine. I'm Symphony Privet.
And I'm Tim Lammers. Hey, it's a nice morning at this point.
Yeah,
so
beautiful
we don't wanna,
sunrise out there.
Right, yeah. We don't want to make you worried about what's happening right now. Here's a live look at Sky 61 in Morris at Bantam Lake. Some nice mist there right above the water, Matt Scott. So, all right, let's talk about later today.
A little smoke on the water, courtesy of Foghat, right? I think that was the band.
Foghat?
Foghat?
Deep Purple?
Deep
No,
Purple.
was it
Deep
Deep
Purple? Right. Thank you.
Foghat's Slow Ride.
Thank you very much. We have a slow-moving system coming in. Weather watch alert takes us from 2 to 8 o'clock tonight. Off and on rain. A couple of thunderstorms in there, maybe a little hail, maybe some wind gusts as well. Radar picture, as we just showed you in Morris. It's not just Morris, everywhere across the board. It's quiet. Strong southerly flow. Here comes the front, kind of like what we had back on Monday with this line coming through in the late afternoon, early evening hours. Temperatures between 51 and 59. Chester's got the 59, 58 in Hartford, 56 in New Haven. Let's time it out for you. Again, morning is fine. The afternoon starts to light up. Here's 3:30. You can see the line getting ready to cross through the state, take you into the 5 o'clock whistle. See the colors indicative of what could be a couple of strong thunderstorm cells. It should be isolated in terms of activity, but as this front comes through, everyone's got a decent chance at getting some rain. Planner for today, temperatures just about where they need to be, maybe shy by a degree or two. We'll focus on the late afternoon for the lightning strikes. We'll have the forecast for the rest of the week coming up. Let's see what's going in on the roads right now. Good morning, Lauren Zenzi.
Good morning to you, Matt Scott. Good morning, everyone. Hopefully everyone is having a good morning so far. As of right now, we don't have a whole lot to get to majorly impacting the morning commute. We do have a couple of things that we are following, though. The first one being over in the Fairfield area. There is a car fire on I-95 southbound. Traffic moving at about 12 miles an hour. The right and center lanes are closed at this time. As we take a look, this is Bridgeport heading into Fairfield, and you can see traffic is crawling already. So unfortunately, here at 6 o'clock, it is just going to be a little bit of a slow go out in Fairfield County earlier than usual. In the Hartford area, 91, 84, Route 2, all moving smoothly right now. 84 eastbound has a little bit of delay, but as you see, smooth sailing on I-91 north and south. And then as we head over into the Milford area, we did have some very heavy volume out there on the southbound side of I-95 due to some road work. That has now cleared and traffic is moving freely. But just be mindful as you're heading into Fairfield County. Bridgeport to Fairfield will take you some extra time. So give yourself plenty of extra time to get where you need to go. We'll check back in on the roads coming up at 6:30. Tim and Symphony, back over to you.
Alrighty, thank you, Lauren. This morning, Hartford police are investigating after a homicide and a related car crash that took place late last night.
Yeah, police told us the shooting happened on Brook Street near Albany Avenue. Fox 61's Brooke Griffin is live at the Hartford police station with what we know so far about how these two things, the crash and the shooting, are related. Good morning.
Good morning to you both. It seems that this may be a pretty complex scene and situation so far. Of course, we are still waiting to hear a lot of those details from police. They said it was a complicated one and they're still working that out, so we're waiting to talk to them. But what we do know so far is just before 10:45 last night, police were called to the scene of a shooting at a home on Brook Street. Now that was shortly after the shooting, there was a two-car crash just a few blocks away. That was on Walnut and High Street, right on the overpass, and that intersection is just feet away from the Hartford police station. Hartford police say this crash is connected to the shooting that took place on Brook Street, but they've not yet said exactly how the two are connected. Police have told us one person was killed during these events, but they've not said if that person died from the car crash or from being shot. Both of those scenes wrapped up pretty early this morning and they are now clear. Again, we are still waiting to hear really the extent of those details from Hartford police. As soon as we know more, we will get that out to you. Live in Hartford, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Okay, Brooke, thank you. This morning, Rocky Hill police said they're investigating a report of gunshots outside a hotel. Police told us they got a 911 call around 10 o'clock last night. Somebody reported that shots had been fired at the Holiday Inn Express on Water Chase Drive. That's right off the Silestine Highway. This morning, police said it was an isolated incident.
And in Hartford this morning, police are searching for a second suspect accused of trying to rob a jewelry store. This all happening just before 10:30 yesterday morning on Park Street. Officers say two men were trying to rob an employee at the Exquisite Pressure Shop. Well, that employee shot at the men, hitting one of them. The suspect he hit is in critical condition at the hospital. If you saw what happened, you're asked to call Hartford Police. And also in the capital city on Wethersfield Avenue, a man was shot near the Hartford Hospital campus just before 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Police say the victim is being treated at the hospital.
President Joe Biden is scheduled to visit Connecticut this week to attend a gun safety summit at the University of Hartford.
Yeah, and that summit on Friday will bring together lawmakers, administration officials, and advocates, all pushing for more action on the issue of gun reform.
Yeah, Fox 61's Angelo Bavaro is here with us in the studio. He's got more details about the visit and what everybody here is doing to get ready.
Tim, Symphony, good morning. At that summit, President Biden is expected to commemorate 1 year since Congress passed the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. That is the first major gun safety bill in decades. He signed this last June, and among the provisions in that bill, an expansion of background checks, closing a loophole to help protect victims of domestic violence, and providing towns and cities with funding for things like violence intervention, mental health, and school safety. Now, gun reform also taking focus here in Connecticut recently. Governor Lamont signing a wide-ranging bill last week that bans the open carry of firearms in public, prohibits the sale of more than 3 handguns to a person in a 30-day period, and cracks down on repeat offenders, which is something that a coalition of mayors have been calling for.
We have to make sure that our laws are strong, and we have to make sure that we enforce those laws and that there are serious consequences for those who break them.
But a federal lawsuit has been filed against Connecticut over parts of this bill by a group called We the Patriots USA. They argue that this bill violates the Second Amendment.
We don't believe there should be any restrictions on the right to keep and bear arms. In our opinion, laws like the one signed by Governor Lamont make the public much less safe.
And President Biden is set to be the keynote speaker at that summit. Again, that is scheduled for Friday afternoon. I will send it back to you at the desk.
Alrighty, thank you, Angelo. Now, of course, Connecticut's news station will have live continuing coverage of the president's visit. You can get the latest on air, online, and on the Fox 61 News app.
New this morning, state prosecutors have dropped all charges against a man who had his murder conviction overturned. Adam Carmen served 28 years in prison after being convicted of shooting and killing a baby and paralyzing her grandmother. That happened back in 1994 in New Haven. But a judge overturned that conviction based on missteps by police and prosecutors. And yesterday, his case was officially dismissed.
Now over to East Hampton this morning, where town councilors are moving forward a proposal for the town's education budget. Now, voters will once again have to decide whether to approve the new budget on July 11th. Last month, they rejected a previous version, which would have cut nearly $800,000. This time around, councilors are sending a budget with $250,000 added back in. Well, 6:09 now, and there's now a new law to allow pharmacists in the state to prescribe birth control. Governor Lamont putting pen to paper, signing the bill. His office says it'll allow for easier access to certain types of birth control without patients needing to visit their doctor first. Pharmacists who have completed a certain accredited training program will be able to prescribe a hormonal and emergency contraceptive.